Have you ever wanted to add more veggies to the start of your day and just not quite sure how? So today we're going to show Cooking Blender in making green monster muffins, and we're actually going to add the kale and fiber enrichable. I'm going to do a half recipe, but the full recipe calls for 2 of these packets, and 1 of these packets equals 2 cups of kale, which is 8 grams of fiber. So what's great about the enrichables, you can get it in a subscription where it's just sent to you monthly, and these are vegan, I wrote this down, non-GMO, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, made without nuts, and no added fillers. So their green powder is really great to be using. So we're going to grab our cooking blender. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on. And as always with the cooking blender, you just add the ingredients in the order that they're listed. So we're gonna start with 1 cup of old-fashioned oats. If you don't want to use oats, you can use oat flour, and then you don't really need the cooking blender, but we're gonna do it. This is what I have, so this is what we're gonna use, and that's what the recipe says. So we're gonna add the oats, and then we're gonna grind these up into a flour. So to do that, we're going to put it on pulse, and we're actually going to pulse it at a 6. So I'm going to change the custom to 6, and it says about 10 seconds. So it has the timer, and we're going to just watch it. 5, 6. Okay, and now we have our oat flour. It was that simple. Okay, so let me I'm gonna make a mess with my oat flour. That's okay. This is definitely a make before the morning of, just because it'll be easier, and then you'll have cleanup done and you'll just be able to grab and go. Okay, so now we have our oat flour. Again, you can skip this step if you already have oat flour. And then we're just going to add the remaining. So I'm going to do the baking powder, baking soda, grab my teaspoon of baking powder. Fun fact, I did not know this until I was years old. You're actually supposed to shake your baking powder because it settles. I had no idea. I found that out like last year sometime. Yeah, that's me. Miss Gourmet. Okay, baking powder. We're going to use ground cinnamon. Oh, I don't have my little cloth with me this time. Usually I just use a little cloth, wipe it off. In between ground cinnamon, I use the special, I can't pronounce it, ground cinnamon. They only have it during the holidays. Love, love, love. I'm just going to do a half a teaspoon of this. All right, we've got our ground cinnamon. I'm gonna grab 1/4 teaspoon baking soda. Half a teaspoon of salt, so we'll just use our 1/4 again. And now we've got the packet of the kale. Again, this recipe is actually for 12 muffins. I'm going to do it in the square brownie pan. I like the shape of square better. And I'm not going to do as big of a muffin. Just because in the morning I don't like a lot of heaviness. So I'm just halving it. Okay, now we're going to do applesauce. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this in my mini measure-all, just because then I can pop it out and it makes it super easy. All right, so there's my applesauce, and now I've got my maple syrup, and it was the same parts applesauce as maple syrup. Just gonna use whatever you got. And I've got my reading glasses on my head. You would think I'd actually put them on so I could see what I'm doing. Nope. I haven't yet. All right, maple syrup. I love doing it in this because it just scrapes out so easily. I'm not trying to get it out of a measuring cup. So that's one of my favorite things about the mini measure-all. Let's see. Extra ripe large banana. I'd say this is extra ripe. I actually been eyeing it in the fruit bowl. I was about to freeze it for smoothies and then ran across this recipe and thought, I know what I want to do with that banana. So, yay, that's what we're doing. Let's see, an egg. Bind it all together. Throw an egg in there. And this I do need my, okay, and 1/4 cup of oil. I'm gonna do it half the 1/4 cup because again, I'm halving my recipe. All right, so there is our oil. So, oh, and I think, yep, teaspoon of vanilla. Just gonna add in a little bit of vanilla. This is our double strength vanilla. Again, I think it's a holiday special. You only have to use half the amount that the recipe calls for, which makes it last longer. So it has, gosh, it has a beautiful, wonderful flavor. So if you get the chance to pick this up, grab it. Okay, so now we are going to put our lid back on. And we are going to put this on custom blend. So I'm just going to cancel this. All right, now it's on custom blend. And blend speed 3. So I'm going to push the button. It's on blend speed 1. I know you can't see this, but I'm just going to move the wheel to blend speed 3. And it says for 30 to 45 seconds, pausing and scraping down halfway through. I love that it has the timer, so I know exactly how long. Because I would have thought that that was already 30 seconds. No, that was just 15. So I love that it does tell me exactly what speed to use, how long I've been doing that. I'm just going to scrape all of this down, our muffin batter, and do another 15 seconds. Okay, so that is our batter for our muffins. Next step, I'm just going to get this out of the way. We are going to fill our muffin tin. So again, you can use a round muffin tin. I'm using the brownie pan. I like it. The thing to know about our non-stick baking pans, do not use, I think I even have one, do not use anything that looks like this, any aerosol spray. It will leave a sticky residue that you do not want. So I don't even know why I still have it in my cupboard. Do not use it. Grab the spritzer instead. You can put whatever type of oil that you want in it. We're just gonna pump it up real quick, give it some air so that it sprays well. And I'm gonna spritz these cups just a little bit. Really, it doesn't need much. I've used our non-stick before, but we're just going to spritz it a little bit. You can see it sprays just like your aerosol, but it's not going to ruin your pans. When you want to store it, then you just release the air by twisting it. So spritzer. Okay, now we're just going to fill our little wells here. And I am not the neatest, so if you're one of those people that cannot spill on the edge, you probably do not want to be watching this. I like to say I am pampered, not perfect at all. So this does say in the muffin tin that it would do 12. Again, I'm not using the standard muffin tin, and I only did half the recipe. So I'm just gonna fill up as many of these as I can. Okay, so before we throw this in the oven, we're gonna add a little bit of brown sugar, cinnamon on top of it, so that it adds a little bit of yummy goodness to our little breakfast treat. So we're just gonna take about a tablespoon of brown sugar and mix some cinnamon with it, and we're just gonna sprinkle this over. Use my little baby spoon. Okay, so we're just gonna mix up brown sugar and cinnamon in a little bowl. I love my little prep bowls. If you've watched any of my videos, you probably already know that. And we're gonna sprinkle this before we throw it in the oven. Of course, you're trying to cut down on your sugars. As you saw, we added no sugar to this recipe, just banana. So of course you can omit this step. I am a fan of sugar. Well, I guess no, we added maple syrup also. So it does have sweetener, but if you're not wanting to add, of course you don't have to. Okay, so these are our kale green monster muffins that I'm gonna put in the oven, and then I'll be right back. Okay, my timer's gone off. We're gonna go ahead and grab these out of the oven and test them. Okay, so I wasn't sure how far to fill them, and as you can see, they did rise. So make sure you don't fill your cups all the way. And we're gonna grab our cake tester and releaser, and it's looking good. They're looking good. So we're gonna leave them in there for about 5 minutes. What I love about the cake tester releaser is, I mean, really you could use a toothpick, but I actually really like this side because especially with this pan, this edge just goes right down in there and releases whatever my goodies. Also in the ceramic egg cooker, I take this edge and I just go in there and release my egg omelet, and I don't know, it's just a little handy dandy, it works. So one of my faves. All right, we're gonna let this sit for 5 minutes and we'll cut one open. So we waited our 5 minutes. My pan is cool to touch, and let me just show you how easy these are coming out. So very easy. Of course, my little brown sugar topping is coming off of my fingers. But it could really be just dump it onto the plate. And I really do love that about our non-stick bakeware. I'm gonna do donuts in a bit. I've done them a few times before and they just come out so easy. Love it. So again, this has the packet of kale, 2 cups of kale were put into these. So grab and go for a breakfast. It's good stuff. It's kind of like a banana muffin. Really good.